All right, let's get things started. Hello and welcome. Big thanks for everyone joining us today for Do More by Doing Less. Today's webinar is a nice and easy but thorough walkthrough of the features that make MobileCause and how they can help you achieve your fundraising goals. Let's go ahead and get the ball rolling. We're joined today by two of our outstanding guided implementation specialists, Sarah Baker and Leah Leibold. Let's learn a little bit more about them. Sarah Baker is a senior guided implementation specialist for MobileCause with a proven track record of helping nonprofits meet their financial goals. She was responsible for creating and managing powerful fundraising campaigns guided by her expertise in social media, online fundraising, strategic planning, marketing strategy, cross-channel communications, donor relations, and more. Leah Leibold, also a senior guided implementation specialist at MobileCause, has over 15 years of fundraising experience, during which she has helped numerous nonprofits meet their financial goals while amplifying their reach and esteem within their communities. She was responsible for creating and managing powerful fundraising campaigns guided by her expertise in capital campaigns, major gifts, strategic planning, marketing strategy, cross-channel communications, donor relations, and more. Both Sarah and Leah and their work has enabled hundreds of MobileCause customers to successfully accelerate and increase their fundraising and engagement efforts. And I'm Richard Council, Marketing Campaign Manager here at MobileCause, and your host for today's webinar. So before we jump into it, I want to walk you through what we're covering today. So first, we're going to ask you a quick question to better understand your needs, because we want to be the best we can be for you. Next, our panelists are going to dive into the features that make MobileCause and how those benefit you as a user. After that, they'll do a walkthrough of our services and how we're here to help you every step of the way of your fundraising efforts. And then we'll tie it up with Q&A. So we anticipate today's presentation will take about 45 to 50 minutes. If you have questions during the presentation, be sure to throw them in the chat section. We have experts standing by to get those answered during the presentation and also during our Q&A portion. Also, speaking of the chat section, be on the lookout for resources to get your hands on. Links will be provided for you to access those. And it's just a reminder, we are recording this webinar and we'll be sending the full recording out so you can have access whenever you need it. With all that out of the way, let's jump into our first poll. So the great thing about polls is there is no right or wrong answer. And as we said in the beginning, this poll is to better understand your needs as a user and how we can be the best we can be for you. So we would love to know, what is a feature you find most helpful in a fundraising platform? We're going to launch this. All right, you should see it up now. And while we get those tallied up, I wanted to get Leah's view on her favorite feature of MobileCause. Leah, what do you think?
I really like the text to donate. Not a lot of nonprofits are using text messages to reach out to their donors. So while everybody's using email, you're more likely to get in front of your donors and really get a response from them using text message. They'll be more likely to actually see your text message than one of the thousands of emails sitting in their inbox. Text message is so important in today's communication. So that would be my vote for my favorite fundraising tool at MobileCause.
Awesome. Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. It's we get 1,000 emails a day. Getting a text message, especially when you're expecting it from a organization that you support, it's pretty cool to see something else in an easier way for you to get in front of somebody. All right, so it looks like we're slowing down here. Give it just a few more seconds. All right, we can go ahead and end this here. All right, I'm going to share these results with you. So it seems we've got some pretty heavy on the peer-to-peer fundraising, which personally that's one of my favorites. With 23% of you saying auction management and 32% to text to donate. I'm not sure if Leah swayed your opinion on that one or not, but and then we come in at 6% for volunteer management. It's pretty cool. The best part about that is MobileCause offers all of these, so that's one of the best parts. All right. All right, so now we got that out of the way. let's move on forward. So first polls down. Without further ado, let's kick things off and get our experts breakdown of the features that make MobileCause. Sarah, you'll start us off.
Thank you so much, Richard. So it's funny mentioning text to donate as one of the most important features, Leah, because that's one of the first features we're going to talk about today. So some of the most important tools that you're going to have in your toolbox as a nonprofit when you're fundraising are the most basic ones. So that's going to be a branded online donation form and a text to donate donation form. One thing that I think is really important to note here is that this actually can be the same form, which makes it very convenient for your donors and also makes them feel safe. So when they go to your website or text in your text to donate keyword to get to your donation form, they're going to see a branded form that they're sure is you and they're sure is secure. So they're not just donating or putting their credit card information in somewhere that they're unfamiliar with or looks different depending on the device they're on. So this feature has, like I said, a lot of different personalization options. So you can make it as branded to you, collecting whatever donor data that you need to collect, to keep all your records up to date. So that can be, address, phone number, email. So you have all the different communication methods with your donors available. Related to text to donate, I'm sure, especially over the last 2 years, you've been growing more and more familiar with texting and QR code options to get to things, whether it's a donation form for a nonprofit or a menu at a restaurant. This makes things hands-free or touch-free, I guess. You still need your hands to text, but touch-free options so that things are safe, convenient, and easy to get to. Okay.
I'd also like to add, you have the ability to include recurring donation prompts. So quick tip there is including a recurring donation prompt can increase the number of recurring donors by 64%. It's awesome. And the reason why this is a big deal is because, recurring donations are funds you can bank on, and increasing the number of recurring donors helps you put more time back into focusing on your mission. And so this applies like across the board. So no matter where you're driving traffic from, always put in those recurring donation prompts because it'll help you in the long run.
So another great tool in MobileCause, besides the branded donation forms and recurring giving, is the fundraising tools. And most people, when they think of fundraising events, they think of black tie galas. MobileCause's fundraising tools are great for those big black tie galas with the big thermometer on the screen. People are texting to donate their gifts, using tickets to check in. But in these post-COVID times, a lot of people are a little wary about going back to those big black tie galas, and people are starting to do hybrid virtual events, garden parties, small round tables, more intimate events, so they have more control from a health standards, from as far to keep everything under control health-wise. So MobileCause has this really great feature when you buy tickets that you can collect the information of all the guests that you're buying tickets for. And what that allows you to do is to follow up with those guests at a later time. Maybe they've been so inspired by your mission and program that you can reach out to them and help convert them to long-term sustainable donors for your organization. But it also allows you to reach out to them after the fact, and have that information on hand just in case you do need to, reach out to somebody about COVID status or something like that. Additionally, there's touch-free tickets, so you can people will get their tickets up on mobile device, and you can just scan that in. Nobody has to touch anything. Nobody has to shake hands. I know that, even in these days of vaccinations, people are still a little bit wary about shaking hands. So you don't have to touch anybody with these tickets. You don't have to share a pen to make your pledge and fill out that pledge card. You can just, text in and make your gift and have it show up right on the thermometer during the event. And it's not just limited, like I said, to these big traditional black tie galas with pledge cards on the table. I've had some of my university clients use the event tools for it in an outdoor alumni weekend. They sold tickets for the different events throughout the weekend and used the individual QR code check-in tickets at the different events throughout the weekend. And for example, they only had space for a certain number of alumni at the dinner. So Mobile Cause allows you to set limits on tickets. There's a lot of different ways you can set those limits. So that way you have control, you don't have to worry about checking back every day to make sure that you turn off the form once the tickets are sold out. The form's automatically going to turn it off when you sell out of tickets. So, in addition to those standard event fundraising tools that you love, there's so many additional great things that you can use the fundraising event features for. All right.
Thanks, Leah. And like Leah was bringing up, virtual events are a big trend that we're seeing, especially over the last 2 years, as we've mentioned, with health and safety. But another great thing about our virtual event tools is even if you don't have health and safety concerns, you might have donors who live not in your immediate community or don't have the funds necessary to travel to all of your great events. So a virtual event brings your audience, to you without having to leave their homes. With our virtual event page, you can live stream, whether you're using Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Vimeo, whatever you use to broadcast your event so that everyone can be participating at the same time. We've seen a lot of really fun virtual events that, make it so that you feel like you're really getting that full experience without having to go anywhere. And sometimes that's done by, sending fun recipes that you can cook together, like during a live demonstration. Or sometimes it's just having a really powerful speaker, maybe a beneficiary of your programming, just connecting with your donors and your audience. The other thing that I really love about these event page, whether you're using it for a virtual event or a campaign like a day of giving, or even a hub for a run walk sign up, is that if you don't have a web designer, or if you can't make changes to your website easily or without incurring a lot of cost, you can use your virtual event page kind of as your microsite. So this is a page where you can put everything that you need for your donors and supporters. So that can include links to your branded donation form that we mentioned earlier. It can include, a progress circle to track how close you are to reaching your donation goal. You can have impact metrics. So let people know if they, sacrifice their $5 Starbucks today and make a donation, that's going to provide 2 meals for kids in your community. Having this kind of information all in one place makes it easily digestible for your audience. And like I said, it's something that's really easy to set up. I joke that I can get my not tech savvy mom to set things up on here. So you don't have to hire out a web designer. But of course, if you don't have time or you need extra help, that's what our team specifically does. Is, I set these up all the time and I love it because it's just super fun, quick and easy. And I love to see it come together, whether it's, for a virtual event or even for a year-round capital campaign, raising money to build a new park or, build a new bridge or whatever you're raising money for. The event page is a super quick and easy way to do that and to support your campaign. And also, just to add to it, includes a text keyword. So your donors can easily text to access this event page on their mobile device. It's not just for your computer. So you can even send out the link via text. So if you are doing that live broadcast, sometimes people forget or their calendar gets messed up, but you can make it really easy for them to get to it and participate. So I think it's one of our best tools and one of our cleanest and looking and newest tools too. So I hope you guys check those out soon.
One of the other great tools in Mobile Cause is peer-to-peer campaigns. And what I like most about peer-to-peer campaigns is that it helps bring new donors to your organization. Peer-to-peer campaigns essentially amplify your reach in your community because you have that circle of people that are closest to you and they volunteer as fundraisers, setting up their own personalized fundraising page. They get their own text to give keyword that they can tell their friends about. And they share that with their friends who probably have similar mindsets and similar interests as they do. And that allows your organization to be introduced to new people. To get the newest trend in marketing is something called micro influencers. And those are people that have small followings in their community. And I really think we can pull that easily into the peer-to-peer area, because essentially every single one of your peer-to-peer fundraisers is a micro influencer, and their friends and family are going to trust what they have to say as far as what organizations in the community they should support. And by sharing their information on their social media, and you can see up top, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but like there's a little Facebook button, an email button here, but we make it really easy for fundraisers to share on social media and share so that their friends and family can learn more about your organization, and you guys get more organic reach than you would if you paid for like boosted posts on Facebook, because Facebook really prioritizes organic reach in its algorithms. And it's really easy for somebody to set up a fundraising page. As I like to joke with my organizations who have a younger donor base, I tell them to tell their fundraisers that it's easier to set up than a Tinder page. It literally is like 2 minutes to set up your fundraising page. You can do it from your phone. You just pop in your little Instagram picture in the thumbnail. You can see the people's pictures down here, and then your page is ready to rock. You have your own, like I mentioned before, you have your own personalized keyword. So if you're in the grocery store or at the gym or going through your day-to-day life and you run into a friend and a friend's asking what's going on in your life, you can say, I'm participating in this really cool peer-to-peer fundraising campaign. Pull out your phone right now and text BOUTS 7 to 71777 to pull up my page, and their friend can pull it up right there. It's really easy. You don't have to give, either friend doesn't have to type in a really long URL into their web browser. They can just text the keyword. They'll get their friend's page. They'll be able to make that gift on the page. It's super easy to use. And one of the things I'm so excited about is that we are launching new fundraiser tools, which mean that there's a communications email center in their peer-to-peer fundraising portal. So fundraisers can text their donors to say thank you, because thank yous are so important in creating repeat givers and sustainable givers. Team captains, if you have a team of fundraisers, team captains can send out motivational messages. And most importantly, you as an organization can send out motivational messages to both your team captains or your fundraisers. And what we have seen is that organizations that communicate frequently during the peer-to-peer fundraising campaign have fundraisers that bring in more money because you're making it easy for them to fundraise on your behalf by giving them motivation, ideas, content, and things like that. And so we have this new fundraising communications portal that'll make it even easier for you to communicate to your fundraisers and donors. And I just wanted to point this out, even before this brand new communications portal, our peer-to-peer fundraising and mobile cause has raised over $601 million. I was shocked when I said that too. $601 million. That is a lot of money in peer-to-peer fundraising. So it's definitely a tool that, that would be a great asset for any organization. And
Okay, so Leah talked about this tool earlier, but mobile messaging is kind of the way, I don't want to say of the future because we've been text messaging for a while, but it is an underutilized tool that we see the nonprofits, once they start using it, they start seeing tons of success. So mobile messaging is just what you think it is. It's sending outbound text messages to your supporters. So in addition to the text to donate, where your donors and supporters can text in for a donation form or more information, you can send text messages to your supporters who have opted in and given you their contact information. And I know, as someone who is definitely addicted to both my phone and my Apple Watch, this is the best way to communicate with me. So emails, I sign up for every coupon that there is possible. So I'm getting hundreds of emails a day and having to unsubscribe all the time. But text messages are more personal. They're something that I check because I'm looking for a text message from my sister or my friend or my coworker. And the text messages that I sign up for from nonprofits are always nonprofits that I care deeply about. And it's a really nice way to stay involved and active with what your organization has going on. So whether that's collecting donations or you're making changes within your organization, moving, or you're having an event, it's really simple and effective way to communicate. I always say too, it's a little bit easier to even write a text message than it is to write a social media post or an email, because you do have, slightly more limited characters than you would. You can send the links to your event page, to your website, to your social, to your newsletter, anything like that. So if you do have more to say or more content that you want to share, that is possible through the text message with a link as well. You can also use this to send automated donation reminders. So when you have those recurring donors, or you have people who, initiate a donation, but, forget to fulfill it, you can use those text messages to remind them. So there's an endless amount of text messages that you could send. Of course, you can work with someone on our team if you need help writing those initial text messages or getting out a calendar of how to start text messaging and make sure that your donors and supporters are comfortable being communicated this way. But once you get that rhythm going, I don't think there's, going back to email or direct mail only. Text messaging will always be part of your communication plan, because you're going to find that you connect with donors of all ages using this option. So yeah, I love the text messaging, not just for texting in keywords, but also for sending those outbound communication methods. And even, circling back to Leah's last slide, the peer-to-peer fundraising. If you have peer-to-peer fundraisers working with you, those micro influencers, use text messages to remind them to fundraise, to remind them of important deadlines, to send them incentives. So maybe you're running a contest for whoever brings in, 5 donors in the next 24 hours, gets a t-shirt from your nonprofit or Starbucks gift card or something of that effect. It's just a great communication tool. that can be used internally with your volunteers and your staff, and externally with everyone who supports your organization.
Thank you, Sarah. And now you're using all these new tools, but you're probably wondering, how do I get all this data? What do I do with all this data that I'm getting from all these gifts? The great thing is the Mobile Cause dashboard, and you can kind of see it here, is really user-friendly and easy to use. We've designed it so that you can just get a quick snapshot of the progress. So if your boss wants to know, how have we been doing on the such and such campaign over the past couple of days, you can see there's interactive dynamic graphics that you can use, and just you can even download one of them and print it out and bring it to your meeting with your boss. So we tried to make it really easy to do, but we also have but in addition to just the quick high level overview and campaign overviews on the dashboards, we also have the ability to download reports from campaigns or individual activities that you can then use on your own. They're going to be downloaded into a CSV file. Then you can use Excel to manipulate that, do some pivot tables, do whatever you need to do. Or you can upload it into your CRM. We also have an open API that you can and integration, so every day that data can be pulled over into your CRM. So that reporting ability is really great. We also, if there's a report you do every day, you can save that, which is great. So you don't have to rebuild it, and you can just download that report and use it for your analysis. In addition to those general reporting tools, we also offer an integration with Google Analytics. So you can put your Google Analytics UID in your settings. And if you have somebody on your marketing team that's really good, or you are really good with Google Analytics, and you don't even have to be that good because we have tutorials in our Knowledge Center about it, but you can see even more detailed data about where people are coming from, what conversion rates are. We do in our analytics, we do show conversion rates and click-through rates, but if you are able to do that Google Analytics integration, you can then see, the source, and you can use UTM parameters and really dive into that data, and have Mobile Cause allows you to have a really professional targeted marketing capabilities. The other thing, one of the other tools that I really like and I encourage a lot of our clients, the clients that I work with, to use is using the lists functionality and segmenting those lists in the platform. So then you can send out segmented text messages to people, or you could just download them for later use for sending out emails. But being able to, in the app, pull the donors that say made over $1,000 gifts to your campaign, so you can do a little more targeted stewardship and outreach, is really a great feature that allows even those organizations with really sophisticated annual fund programs to find use in Mobile Cause reporting analytics. And even if you're new to reporting and analytics, and you can still, it's really easy to use. So there's something for everybody in reporting and analytics, from those smaller groups with 1 or 2 development officers to the huge organizations with big teams of development and marketing and fundraising. All right, with that.
Cool, thank you, Leah. Hey, so really quick, we actually have some awesome questions coming in that I want to go ahead and get covered before we actually go into the Q&A, because we're getting some really awesome questions coming in. And with that, be sure for real, like, yeah, please keep all questions coming in through the Q&A button. We want all and every question that we can possibly get to. So with that said, Leah, we have a two-parter here. So
Sure.
when you talk about ticketing functionality, do you have the ability to use discount or promotional codes? That's part one.
Oh, yes.
Okay, super cool. And then do you have any recommendations on how to handle sponsor packages through the platform?
Yes. So we do. So we can use ticketing promotional codes for ticketing. You can either do a percentage off or a dollar amount off, which is really great. They're really easy to use. You can set them up right as you're setting the ticket form. Then, as the follow up to that question about sponsor packages. So we do set up quite a few sponsor forms with our clients, and that which allow if somebody, so we set up, there's a way we can set up the forms so that people can also assign tickets for their sponsor. So if they get like a table of 10 as a sponsor, you can work with your MobileCause team to help set up that sponsorship form so that then you can get those 10 tickets for the people at the table and things like that.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. Sarah, we got one for you. How does live streaming work through the platform? And this is also a two-part. Does MobileCause host the live stream itself or just give you the option to embed?
You can embed the link to your live stream. So, anything that's going to give you like a shareable, embeddable link like Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Vimeo Live will give you a link that you can add into your event page. So that's really cool because, like I said, it's going to make it so it's on the event page, but you can still also be streaming it there separately. But yeah, sorry, what was the second part of the question?
Oh, so like, well, the first part is just how does live streaming work through the platform? And then the second part, just does MobileCause host the live stream itself or just basically give you the option to embed?
Yeah, so it's going to give you the option to embed. So once it's there, can stay there as long as you have it up on the streaming service.
Awesome. Very cool. Let's see. Oh. So Leah, if someone is interested in running a peer-to-peer campaign for an organization, do they set the page up themselves or is that something you guys could do on their behalf?
Oh, we definitely could do it on their behalf. That's what we're here for. As Sarah mentioned earlier, this is a part of our job that we enjoy. But so that's definitely an option. But we have tons of clients that set these up on them by themselves. I have a group of senior citizen volunteer docents that have set up a peer-to-peer campaign by themselves. So even if it's very easy to set up. We really pride ourselves on having a software that's easy to use for people at all levels of technological fluency. So, of course, if you're really busy, have a small team, limited time, you just send over your logos, materials, brand colors, and things like that, and we'll get that set up for you in a week or so. But it's nothing that we have a lot of resources in our knowledge center and trainings and videos. So it's nothing that somebody who has a curiosity to learn couldn't figure out and do by themselves in the period of a week as well. So you might have a little more of a learning curve because this is new to you, but it shouldn't be your trouble at all.
Sweet. All right. Actually, we have two more that I think are very, very relevant. So Sarah, over to you. Is there a limit to the amount of donors we can include on a text message? So example, number of people we have who we can send to at a single time, just like basically a big mass text kind of thing. We have a large donor base, so I'm curious if we can send to them all at once, or would we need to break up the distribution list?
Yeah, so even if you have a large list, you'll be able to, send to that list all at once. I usually recommend taking a look at your large list and sometimes segmenting it into smaller text messages. And that's more from a marketing standpoint than a software standpoint. So, you can segment by recent donors to lapsed donors to people who've done recurring gifts before, people who've attended events. So you can just tailor those messages to them. I think you're always going to find the text to be more effective and efficient when you do segment your list. But in terms of the software and limitations, you'll be able to send you'll be able to send a text message to a large list without any problems.
Awesome. Yes, segmentation is incredibly important. We'll do one more and then we'll go into the services portion. Leah, we have collected phone numbers from our donors before, but haven't used them in a text to donate or mobile messaging. What do we need to do to make sure we have consent to text them? Do we need to get them to opt in again?
Yeah, we are really conscious at Mobile Cause of making sure that you're TCPA compliant, which is the federal regulations regarding mobile marketing. Because if you guys were allowed to send text messages that weren't TCPA compliant from Mobile Cause, we would be shut down in no time. So we have a lot of what are they called? We have a lot of ways to prevent you from making mistakes as far as staying in TCPA compliance. But with that, there's not, you are lucky because nonprofits have looser restrictions than than for-profit companies as far as TCPA compliance goes. So as long as you have an existing relationship with an organization, so that means they've given you a donation in the past, they've come to one of your events in the past, they volunteered for you in the past, and you've collected their phone number in normal course of business and you have that relationship with them, you can send them outbound texts without worrying about being, getting in trouble because you're not following regulations. I will note that Mobile Cause, in order to make sure you're TCPA compliant, when you send that first outbound broadcast marketing text message to your donors, it includes an extra little message that has compliance language in it that is required by the federal government. So, and every single message that you send to somebody after that initial message with that required compliance language will have the option, as you've probably seen in the marketing text message that you get, that you can press stop to opt out. So yeah, so you can feel really comfortable sending text messages to anybody who's in your list that you've collected in normal course of business.
Yeah, that's always been a worry, especially with like the new age of text messages. A huge question that I've gotten before, even in different industry, is, do we have to opt in every single time? And it's and to prove your point, it's like, yeah, a nonprofit organization has looser restrictions, and so it's always great that way. So your donors are expecting to hear from you. They want to hear from you. They want to stay engaged. So as long as you're keeping up with them and you're segmenting and you're sending them the things that they want to hear, most of the time I would argue that you would have a higher percentage of people that would welcome that approach. And if they don't, if you have a great relationship with them, or maybe you don't have a great relationship with them, most of the time they will let you know whether or not they opt out or they call you. So either way, it's definitely worth the time to go through and actually segment your list and put yourself in their shoes and try to get in front of them as much as you can. Great. So, of course, we're a little biased here because Leah and Sarah are part of the services team, but as I'm sure you all can tell, the features of Mobile Cause they're all there with you in mind. So constantly improving and adding to make sure that you hit and exceed your fundraising goals with all the features and capability. What about services? Our services were also put there in place with you in mind. So a full suite of online and mobile messaging solutions to help you maximize your fundraising results. From guided implementation to comprehensive training, your mission is our mission. So with that being said, let's kick it back over to Leah. She's going to tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so Sarah and I both work in what is called guided implementation. What that means is that we help you figure out your strategy and the best products in Mobile Cause to use for your campaigns. We've seen it all. Sarah, I've been at Mobile Cause for almost 5 years now. Sarah's been there longer than me. So we've worked with hundreds and thousands of clients between the two of us. And we have other team members who've also been there just as long. So what we'll do is we'll jump on the phone with you. We'll talk through some options of different types of forms to help figure out what within Mobile Cause would work the best for you. You might know that you need to do peer-to-peer. That's great, but let's figure out the best way to set up this peer-to-peer for you. Then we'll send you a checklist of materials that we'll need from you, like logos, branding, colors, if you have specialty logos for your campaign. And then you'll send us those materials and we'll get it all set up for you and laid out. And then we can have another call to go over it and share, and make some changes together. Throughout the process, in our work together, we're there to answer questions for you. We also are able to give you help and talk about strategy for getting these brand new forms and materials in front of your donors. What's the best way to do that? How do I share this form via text message? We have a lot of clients that just come to us. They only want a plain, simple branded donation form. They don't need peer-to-peer or event pages or ticketing or anything like that, but they want our help implementing a text program where they're engaging with their donors via text over a long period of time. So we'll sit down and, work out the best way to do that strategically, maybe even help them compose some text messages, show them how to send those text messages, all kinds of stuff. So we are here to work with you. And the great thing is we're working with, a bunch of clients at a time. Not too many though. You usually you'll get responses to your emails usually within 24 hours and stuff like that. But we usually work with a lot of clients. We have a deep base of understanding what the trends are. What are how are other clients addressing this? If you have a question like, oh, how do we ask people about their vaccination status for this event? We've usually seen it before, so we can send you some examples. We can talk through some of the things that other clients have brought up. So it's a really cool service that's available to our clients.
Yeah, and whether you're working with the guided implementation team or not, you're always going to have, 24/7 customer support. So in addition to, the team that Leah and I are on, we also have a support team who answers email and phone questions. So they can help you, whether it's, a simple question or you're having a little bit of trouble, setting something up, they can give you that support. Most importantly, this also is available during your live events. So obviously galas and bruncheons and all these different things don't always happen during business hours. And you might have a question when you're pulling up your fundraising thermometer and maybe you forgot how to hide donation amounts or something. You're going to be able to get live support and help with that. Our support team is also on top of, helping sure that the money that you process through Mobile Cause and that you're fundraising, is processed through your merchant processor. So you have all of that available to you, including reporting, which is obviously very important for your accounting team. And we're always making sure to look out for fraud in case there's anything nefarious going on your online donation form. They'll put a stop to that right away. So it's not even something you'll ever have to think about or you'll probably even ever know about. And then in addition to the support team or the guided implementation team, we also have account managers who are there to help you with general account questions, whether that's setting up your payments or working on that merchant account setup, as well as questions maybe you're looking to upgrade to get some additional training or get some additional support from, Leah or myself on the guided implementation team. Your account manager is your number one support person or contact person at Mobile Cause. So you're not just given the software and then no help. You're having a full team of real people that you can talk to on the phone or talk to on email, as well as our great knowledge center. So if you are someone who's a little more DIY, you can do that yourself as well.
Yeah, Sarah mentioned our knowledge center. It's really great. I'm one of those people that prefers to learn by doing and practicing. So I'll pull up an article, even when I first started working here, I would pull up an article and walk it, a knowledge center article, and walk through whatever I was trying to do for a client with the knowledge center article. So they're really great, whether you need somebody else to help you or you learn by watching videos. We have a ton of videos. Our training manager, Scott, he has a lovely voice and he does a lot of our videos. He's great at it. We also do regular trainings just for clients. So Sarah and I do these frequently, but we talk about timely topics in the realm of fundraising and Mobile Cause, and have show you how to do things. It's kind of like training, like, oh, Giving Tuesday's coming up. Let's walk through some Giving Tuesday examples, show how you can set up something like this. And, they're open to all of our clients. So anybody can come on these training things, learn about great new ideas that other organizations are doing, and get a little how-to knowledge. We also have a great, robust database of these strategy videos. So if there's a topic you want to learn about and it's not coming in an upcoming webinar, go through the database and you'll find a ton of educational client videos just for clients. So there's plenty of resources.
Awesome. Yeah, that's I'll be honest with you, like I've taken some time to go through the knowledge center myself, and it's completely night and day. I mean, it's changed a ton. Like I've learned more than I could possibly think that I would be able to learn, like just from a single knowledge center. And to your point, Leah, it's like, yeah, Scott, awesome. I mean, he runs some really great training webinars, and I've attended multiple of those, and they're always super great. And you never necessarily learn the same thing twice. Like he always has something new to bring to the table, so it's always really good. So after all of that, we can break it down to these key takeaways, which is our features are designed to make it easy for you to achieve your goals. Services we offer take the guesswork out of planning and execution. We're here to help you 24/7. I mean, no matter what, that's what we're here for. Your mission is our mission. So features are here to make it easy as possible for you to achieve and exceed your fundraising goals from start to finish and beyond. The services are super robust to help you go over any speed bump with ease, including planning and executing campaigns for you. And yeah, so like we're just here to help you in your organization as little or as much as you need. So as we head toward the end of today's session and into the Q&A, we just have one more question for you. And that is, are you interested in learning more? So while we let our speakers take a sip of water to answer your questions in the Q&A section, would you want a one-on-one consultation with a representative or get more information about the platform as a whole? Launch this here. let this run for just a couple seconds. Let everybody kind of let their hand rest from taking notes and get ready to ask some more questions and all that good stuff. Believe it or not, there is still more to learn. Couple more seconds here. I think we're slowing down. All right, let's go ahead and end this poll. Wonderful. Thank you so very much. All right. So thanks for everybody for participating in that poll. Let's move on to the Q&A section. So I'm sure you recognize all three faces here. So with the remainder of our time, let's dive into the greatly awaited Q&A. Sarah and Leah both have a plethora of knowledge and are excited to answer your questions. So feel free to send in more to the Q&A box, and we'll get to as many as we can. And as a final reminder, we will be sending out a full recording of today's webinar, as well as any resources covered. So good news is, even if you had to jump early or anything like that, we'll still send you all the stuff as an update so you can access it anytime. So with all that out of the way, let's get to the first question. Let's see. Scroll through these really fast. All right, so let's actually let's open this up to both of you. Sarah, we'll let you answer first. You have all given some great recommendations on what to do, but I'm curious if either of you have things that you've seen a lot of organizations do that you recommend steering clear from. It's a good one.
I think the number one thing I'd recommend to steer clear from is just doing anything without too much planning. So if you're going to run your first peer-to-peer fundraiser, because you've seen the numbers of how much peer-to-peer fundraising raises, you can't just jump right into it. You need to take a little bit of time to plan it out. And, that means that there's some initial stages. So, thinking through, what are you fundraising specifically for? Who are you targeting as your fundraisers? How are you going to reach out to them? So some of this planning stages, comes in way before you even do the software. The setup is so easy that I think it's easy to set something up without necessarily thinking it through. So that's where I like to turn to, some of our resources on like a calendar or working with the team and thinking, okay, when do I start what? So maybe a month out, you're going to make your plan, what you're fundraising for, who you're targeting as your fundraisers, how you're going to incentivize them. Then you start building out some of your content. So that's going to be graphics and the content that you might provide to your fundraisers to put on their peer-to-peer page. So again, I think just make sure you take the time to properly plan things. Of course, we've seen tons of organizations have to hop to fundraising for something really quickly. Like in our community, there was the Thomas Fire and the Woolsey Fire that we had to fundraise for. Some of those things, obviously, you can put together with a little less time and planning as you're reacting to real world events. But when you do have the time, I'd say take it to properly plan your fundraiser. Leah, I don't know if you want to add to that.
That's a great point. Sarah, that's a really great point. Planning is so important. Along those lines, I think one of the things that I always tell my clients to do is to be brave when sending out their communications. So so a lot of times when I'm working with clients and advising them, they say, oh, I only want to do 2 or 3 emails for this campaign. And guess what? Somebody who sends out 2 or 3 emails and does 1 or 2 social media posts, that campaign does not raise a ton of money. And that's because it takes between 8 and 12 impressions for somebody to take action and respond to a campaign. So that means that as a nonprofit, if you're having that peer-to-peer that Sarah was talking about, not only do you need to prepare in advance, but you also need to make sure that you're sharing the campaign enough times so that people see it and respond to it. Because, if you just send out one email recruiting people to become fundraisers and one person signs up, and you can't just, say, oh, well, we tried. Nobody wanted to be a peer-to-peer fundraiser for us. No, it's just like everything else with fundraising. You have to send out 4 or 5 emails, a bunch of social media posts, call to follow up with those people that are closest to the organization. Ask some other people who are volunteers for you who are close to the organization to share the fundraising recruitment on their personal social media pages. Send out those text messages. The more you can get in front of people, the more likely you are to have success. It's just not, it's just not putting together a form and then sending out one email. No, it's continued communication over a long period of time to get people to engage with your organization.
Consistency is key. And if we want to add that to the key takeaway section, we should. Let's see, we have, all right, this is a good one. Let's go to both of you as well. We have a large student volunteer population. Do you suggest asking them to do a peer-to-peer campaign, since students aren't normally flush with cash, but have better social media presences?
I think that's a definite yes, and something Leah and I have seen a lot, especially, obviously university clients or people who have students as their main community and supporter base. And yeah, while students might not necessarily have a lot of money, we've seen lots of really successful peer-to-peer campaigns where the donation amounts are small. Because, if you have small donation amounts, but a lot of donors, that obviously adds up. And using the social media presence and reach of those students is going to really help you find success, especially because they might be on some of the social media platforms that your nonprofit hasn't dipped their toes into yet. So that's somewhere like TikTok, where they can, share their text to donate keyword, do those little pointing videos. They're pointing up at the text keyword and, share out links and QR codes and everything, and reach people that you might not necessarily reach, or have an impact on, their friends who probably have never heard of your organization, or maybe thought they had to start out with $50 donations and they didn't feel like it'd make a difference to donate $1 or $5, but they see their friend's fundraising page with those lower suggested donation amounts and they decide to make that donation, or maybe even make it as a recurring donation because it feels small and insignificant at the time to them, but will really add up for you. So I don't know, Lee, if you want to add anything about student fundraisers.
Student fundraisers are, like Sarah said, great. They're a great audience. One of our most successful Giving Tuesday campaigns a couple of years ago had all donations under $5, and they had so many donors, they raised the most on a Giving Tuesday. So, I mean, that's just something to think about, that it's not necessarily that, with something like peer-to-peer that has a wide reach, you can raise a lot of money in small value donations. Additionally, students love to compete against each other. I've worked with some organizations that, like a university that has one of their Greek life has all the fraternities and sororities have teams and are competing against each other. And that competition, because there's really friendly competition, it really helps, that friendly competition really helps promote those fundraising campaigns. So that's a great idea.
Awesome. Looks like we got some time for one last question. And I think this is important because you both can answer this pretty quickly, I think, which is, how many campaigns can we have going at one time?
As many as you want, as many as you can conceive of and reasonably run.
Yes, there's really no limit, to how many campaigns that you can have in your account. We have clients that have hundreds. So, but it's, yeah, like you said, it's the only limit is your ability to manage them effectively.
It's a great point. Never outrun your headlights is another key takeaway. All right, wonderful. So On that note, really great questions. I mean, it was very informative, and I really appreciate that. And really understanding where everybody stands, and what you're really interested in learning more about, and how you manage your day-to-day operations. So with that, thank you all again for joining today. Also, another last reminder: this is recorded and it will be sent to you, so don't sweat over that if you had to hop early. But it's time to say farewell for today. So again, thank you to everybody for joining, and big thank you to Sarah and Leah for sharing your knowledge with all of us today. Big thing here is be sure to keep an eye out for the March webinar invite. It's going to be a really cool one. And so on that note, we'll see you next time. Hope to see you next time. Hi, everybody.